奉主耶稣圣名讲话。
In the name of Jesus Christ, I
那
speak.
我们继续查考的会信心的如火挑旺。
And we will continue to share in Rekindle Our Faith.
那刚才我们提到那个以利亚，
And earlier we mentioned Elijah.
所以我们不要丢进那个以利亚的盲点，
So let's not fall into the blind spot of Elijah.
但是我们要效法他的当神跟他讲完以后的立志的改变。
But we must learn from his determination after God has spoken to him.
所以我们感谢也看到这个真实的工人
And so we give thanks for the true workers,
真的那个跟从神、服侍神的人，
those that truly follow and submit to God.
他能够顺服的当中能够看到自己的问题，
And in their submission, they're able to see their own problems.
然后更重要的，他在重新振作起来，
And more importantly, they were once again able to stand and change.
诚实的心、喜乐的心，继续的工作，
With a heart of sincerity and with truth, they continue to serve.
继续的他放下的本来要放下的工作的重新再来。
And they have put down their previous work and to start again.
同样的，今天如果我们是真的是真心的、热心的来去服侍神，
And today, likewise, if we have a true heart to serve God,
然后我们也对这个热心也是按着这个真实事的追求
and our zeal is according to the truth,
然后我们应该有这个以利亚的谦卑，
then we should have the humility of
有
Elijah,
以利亚的决心的改变
the determination of Elijah to change.
那现在我们谈第二部分，
And now we'll speak on the second part.
就说为什么我们不能够为竞争信仰而以热心呢？
Why can we not be zealous for the true faith?
那这个就是我们问自己的一个问题。
And this is a question that we can ask ourselves.
我们先翻开那个提摩太后书，
And let's turn to 2 Timothy.
提摩太后书的第1章，
2 Timothy chapter
我
1.
们看第6节跟第7节。
We'll read verse 6 and verse 7.
提摩太后书的第1章的第6节跟第7节。
2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 6 and verse 7.
我为此我提醒你，使你将神这我按手所给你的恩赐，在如火挑旺起来，因为神赐给我们不是胆怯的心，乃是刚强、仁爱、谨守的心那这里保罗鼓励提摩太，
Here Paul encourages Timothy
真的要他的信心恩赐挑旺起来
that he may stir up the gift of God,
因为神所给我们的不是胆怯的，
because what God has given us is not a
是一个
spirit of
勇敢
fear,
的、
but of power,
蛮有爱心的，
of love,
还有这个谨守的心。
and of a sound mind.
那今天也是一样。
And today it is the same.
那我们对这个信仰、这个信心，为什么不能够挑旺起来？
And why is it that we cannot stir up our faith?
或者说，为什么我们可以挑旺起来？
Or why is it that we can stir up our faith?
就好像保罗跟提摩太所说的，
Just as Paul said to
主
Timothy.
要的原因就是从12节到14节，保罗的回答，
And the answer is in verse 12 to 14.
也可以说这3节的内容也是保罗的能够固守他的信心的热心的原因。
And these 3 verses contain the reason why Paul is able to stand firm in his faith.
我们看12节到14节。
Let's read verse 12 to 14.
为这缘故，我也受了这些的苦难，然而我不以为耻，因为知道我所信的是谁，也深信他能够保存我所交付给他的，直到那日。你从我听来从政的话语的规模要用在耶稣基督里面的信心和爱心，常常守着。从前所交托你的善道，你要靠着那住在我们里面的圣灵，牢牢的守住那保罗就说到了，为什么他可以坚持忍耐到底？
Here it tells us why Paul is able to hold fast and endure to the end.
因为第一，他知道他所信的是谁，
First of all, because he knows whom he believes in.
他所信的是耶稣。
He believes in Jesus.
那这个耶稣也是真神，
And Jesus is the true God
也是唯一的神。
and the only God.
那这个也是我们所信的。
And this is also what we believe in today.
但是保罗提到第二点
And Paul mentions the second point.
就说他从保罗所听到的那个从政话语的规模。
The pattern of sound words which he has heard.
那这里提到就是那个得救的真理。
And this is the truth of salvation.
但是保罗告诉他，你要用在信心和爱心的。
And here says, in faith and love.
就是说你所听到的这个真理，你需要用这个真理听到的道理来放在建立自己的信心跟爱心。
And the truth that you hear that you must establish in faith and love.
然后呢，在第3
And
14节
thirdly,
就说，靠着圣灵牢牢的守住。
and in verse 14, keep by the Holy Spirit who
那
dwells
简
in
单来
us.
说，
And simply put,
保罗就问他，
Paul asks him,
你觉得你所接受的道理，这个信仰是哪一种信仰？
he asks them, what kind of faith have you received?
是真的还是假的？
Is it true or is it false?
是属神的还是不属神的？
Does it belong to God or not belong
是
to
从
God?
神来的还是从人来的？
Is it from God or is it from man?
是有体验或者没体验？
Can you experience it or can you not?
所以保罗告诉他，
And so Paul tells
既
him,
然你清楚的，你
This
清楚啊，你有体验的，
you've believed and
也
you've
我也很跟你
experienced.
讲得很清楚，
And I've explained to you very clearly.
那你应该要发起那个热心，
And so you must be stirred up in your
不
faith.
因为所遭遇的事情放下以前的那个信心。
And to not because of the things that you face to let go of your faith.
那同样的，今天我们用保罗所说的来放在自己的身上。
And so today we can use what Paul has said to put in ourselves.
那我们认为我们所接受的信仰道理是真的吗？
Do we reckon the faith that we've received is true?
是全备的吗？
Is it complete?
是只有这个道理才能够救我们吗？
Is it only this faith that can save us?
与我们是承认，
And if we admit this,
事实我们所接受就是唯一的得救的道理，
in fact, the truth that we have received is the only way to salvation.
也是真的，我们应该走在那个得救的路上，
And we can walk on this way to salvation.
也是神用神迹启示所证明的那个道理。
And this is the truth confirmed by signs and miracles.
那我们应该能够发起热心，
Then we should be able to stir up our
也
faith
应该有这个热心，
and to have this zeal
因为我们找到那个宝啊，
because we have found this treasure.
就好像那个马太福音的13章所说的。
Just as it says in Matthew chapter
我们看
13.
马太福音的13章，
If we read Matthew chapter 13,
马太福音的13章的44节
Matthew chapter 13 verse 44.
，13章的44节，
Chapter 13 verse 44.
天国好像宝贝藏在地里，人遇见了就把它藏起来，欢欢喜喜的去变卖一切所有的，买这个地啊。这里说遇到宝了，
And here it says that they have found a treasure.
明白这个宝，我们就很高兴，
And understanding this treasure, they're very
是
joyful.
愿意将一切的变卖去买这个地。
They're willing to sell all that they have to buy this
这
field.
说明他为了这个宝贝愿意牺牲，愿意付出，
And it means to say that for this treasure, they're willing to sacrifice and put in effort
因为他已经认定了这个是真的宝。
because they have confirmed and stated in their heart that this is true
那
and
今天我们
treasure.
的信仰也是一样。
And so today our faith is the
那我
same.
们觉得我们的信仰是一个宝贝吗？
Do we see our faith as treasure?
如果我们觉得不是宝贝，
And if we see it as not precious,
还有比它更宝贝的，
and there are other things more precious
那
than
我
our
们一
faith,
定不会在这个信仰去努力的。
then we will definitely not be hardworking in our faith.
那当然，我们曾经可能看到其他的比这个信仰更宝贵，
Perhaps we may see other things as more important
所以
or more precious
所以
than
我
our
们
faith.
就不来了，
And so we no longer
或者说我
come,
们不愿意在这个信仰里面。
or we no longer can continue in our
但是
faith.
感谢神啊，
But we give
我
thanks
们
to
的
God
心再一次被挑起啊，
that our heart is once again rekindled.
那我们要重新再问自己，
And so we must once again ask
那
ourselves,
到底这个信仰值得吗？
is our faith worth it?
如果是值得，
If it's worth it,
那我应该要很开心的去追求。
then I must happily pursue.
那如果不开心，
And if we are not joyful
那
about it,
除非这个宝是假的，
or if this treasure is fake,
或者说我们一个后悔了我们的追求
or if we regret our pursuit,
所以我们就不会高兴。
then we will not be joyful.
那既然我们所承受的是真的，也是没有假的话，
And if what we have received is true and is not false,
是绝对的，绝对的没有第二的话，
and is absolute and there's no other,
也是最好的。
and it is the best,
那我们为什么不能够热心呢？
then why can we not be zealous?
或者说为什么我们有一时的热心，一时的难淡呢？
Or why are we zealous in some parts and lukewarm in others?
其实我们看到自己的信心随着时间、随着环境来变动的。
And we see that our faith, because of time or circumstances, changes.
但是我们再回头想一下，
But if we look back,
如果是真的宝的话，
if it is truly precious,
那这个永远不会拿走我们的爱慕的心，
then it will never, our heart to pursue will never be removed.
一定的会让我们常常看到的我们的喜爱。
Because the more we see it, the more that we love and desire it.
所以问题是说我们的人的问题。
And so the problem is with us ourselves.
就好像我们在买一个东西，
And it's like when we purchase something.
然后我有一天跟那个年轻人 跟他分析一些的事情，
And there was one time when I shared with a youth,
因为他很年轻啊，在这里怎么开始有的跟那个异性谈那个恋爱，
and because they're quite young, they began to date
那我就跟他说，
the opposite gender. And so I said to
你
them,
遇到你一定很高兴，是不是？
when you see them, you'd be very
你
happy,
觉
right?
得很美啊，很可爱。
And you view them as very beautiful and loving.
我就说你好像你买一个电脑一样，
It is like when you're buying a
你第
computer.
一拿到那个电脑的时候，
When you first receive this
你兴
computer,
奋不得了，
you're so happy and overjoyed.
但是你过了3个月，
But after 3
你
months,
再拿个电脑的时候，
and when you
你
take up
还
this
会
computer,
感动吗？
would you still be moved?
他说不会。
He said no.
那我说为什么？
I said, why?
习惯了，
Because I'm
习
used to
惯
it.
没有新鲜啊，没有什么新鲜感啊。
I'm used to it, so it doesn't feel very
那
new.
我说也是一样。
And so I
那
said, it's
为
the
什么
same.
现在你很看重这个交情？
And so and I said, why do you look so much
因
on
为
this
对你来说是
relationship?
新的东西，
Because to you it is new.
但是这个感受不是从那个理性的了解去做那个结果。
But it is not, your feeling is not rational.
所以你不要让这个感情成为那个好像电脑一样。
So don't treat your relationship like a computer.
真的问题是我们的人啊。
And so it is true that the problems
当然，
within
世界
man.
的物质当中没有绝对好，
And so of course in this world there's no material that is absolutely the best.
但是透过这个例子，让我们明白其实是人的问题。
But from this example we can see it is a problem within
因
man.
为神的价值、道理的信仰的价值不改的
Because the value and the worth of the words of God does not change
也不会什么过期的。
or will not expire.
但是我们要明白的，既然这个道理不改，这个真实的拯救没有不变，
But we must understand that this truth of salvation does not change.
那为什么我们没有办法去保持我们对这个信仰的追求的热心？
And so why can we not keep this zeal towards our faith?
为什么我们没有看到它的美好？
Why do we not see the beauty within it?
或者说我们知道
Perhaps we may
我们
know.
的那个知识上面知道这个宝贵，
And in terms of knowledge, we know it is precious.
但是有什么原因构成了我们没有办法平衡、没稳定的我们的信心？
But we can ask ourselves what is stopping us to be stabilized in
那
our
我
faith.
就来思考一下，
And so we can think about this.
可能有几个原因。
Perhaps there are a few reasons.
那我们来想，
And so we
第一，
can think. The first one,
是不是说我们的热心是一个选择性的热心？
is our zeal based on our choices or options?
那是什么是选择性呢？
So what does it mean to be decision
那
based?
简单来说，就是按照我们的意思的选择，
But it means it's based on our own thinking, our own
选择
thoughts.
合我们口味的工作，
Something that is palatable to ourselves.
就好像一个挑食的人一样。
For example, someone that is a picky eater.
那比如说
For example,
岗位的跟那个职分，
our role or our office.
当我得了这个职分的时候，
When I receive this role,
或是说我喜爱这个职分，
or I like this role,
所以当我得了，
once I've received it,
所以特别很热情的去这个那个跟这个信徒交往，
I'll be very zealous to speak with the members.
或者说我当了负责人，
Or if I become a church board member,
因为这个就是我喜爱的工作，
because this is a work that I desire.
所以我得了我就殷勤的去做，
And because I've received it, I will diligently do this.
所以我们看到这个是选择，
And so this is based on our
所以
choices.
我选择哪个工作，
I choose which work.
或者说我们被派到是什么的岗位，
Or if we have to be sent in a certain office,
然后我们就按着所得了来变动我们的对这个工作的投入，
then this will affect how much we put into this work,
或者说对这个工作的那个热情。
or this zealousness towards this work. Secondly,
可能我们选择工作的内容，
perhaps we may choose based on the content of the work.
可能我们会选择或者说要求的配合我的能力、我的背景、我的学历。
Perhaps we may choose based on if it matches our ability, our background.
如果说交给我们的不配合我的背景或者说我的能力的话，
If what we receive does not match our ability or our background,
可能我们就不高兴了。
then perhaps we may be unhappy.
不高兴，我们就不会去投入的去工作，
And if we're unhappy, then we'll not invest ourselves into
或
it.
者说所交给我们的
Or for example, if what's been given to
那
us,
工作的内容可能很难，
the content of the work may be quite difficult.
或者说我们要求是容易的工作的那个内容，
Or perhaps we may request an easier work.
可能因为这个原因我们就受到影响。
And perhaps because of this we are influenced.
或者说工作的内容需要我们去出钱出力的，
For example, if this work requires us to offer up our money or our ability,
可能我们说不要找我了，
we will say, oh, please do not look for me.
既然出钱出力就不要找我，
If I need to offer up my time and my
有的
money,
吃
then do
有
not
的
find
玩
me.
才来找我，
If I can eat and I can play, then
这
please
个是
find me.
选择性的
But this is
选择性的工作，
this is decision-based work.
所以我们的心就看到选择性的那个热心那个不是真的热心。
And so this zeal based on choices or decisions is not true zeal.
那第三，
Thirdly,
可能的那个选择性的是在于我们是跟谁同工，
and this zeal may be based on who that we co-work with,
看谁跟我同工啦，
who will work with me.
是我喜爱的人吗？
Is it someone that I like?
你要叫我就跟这个人，跟这个他同工，我不要。
Or if I'm to be partnered with this person, I do not want it.
或者说我们对跟这个人是有些矛盾的，
Or perhaps there have been some previous conflict with this
你不要
person.
找我了。
Oh, please do not look for me.
所以我们会随着同工的对象或者我们的工作的对象而去改变我们的心情。
For example, we may base our zeal on who we co-work with or who we're working for.
那比如说我们去探访，
For example, if we go to visit,
教会说你去探访这个人，
the church may say, oh, please visit this
可能
person.
你觉得已经有个概念说这个人没办法讲的了，
You already have a preconcept that you cannot speak to this
所以你
person.
是没办法就去找他。
And so you're forced to go look
但
for
是
them.
我们就发现，当我们去交谈的时候，我们是没有办法去用心来去做这个事情，
But you find that when you converse with them, you're not able to put your heart into
我
it.
们是很勉强去做事情，
And we are very forced to do so.
所以这个影响我们的热心啊。
And so this will affect our
那
zeal.
如果是被派的那个人，我喜爱这个人啊，
But if we are sent to someone that we
我们
like,
就带着一个很喜乐的心去探访这个人，
then we'll go with a very joyful heart to visit them.
我们就发现，奇怪的，为什么一时很高兴，一时不高兴？
And so we'll find it's very strange why are we joyful in one part and not so joyful
不
in
是工
others.
作的问题，
It is not the
而是
problem of the
我的
work,
选择
but is our choice.
我选择工作的对象，还有同工的对象
I choose who I'm to work towards and those that I work with.
第四，
And fourthly,
可能我们的选择是有关那个时间跟那个哪一种的环境。
it is based on time or what kind of environment.
那时间来说，比如说需要我请假，
And
我
time,
就不要了。
perhaps if I need to ask for annual leave, then I will not want to do this
或
work.
者那个环境是很容易的是好的环境，我可以去；
And if the environment is easy and good, then I will go.
或者说很近的，我可以去。
Or if it is very near.
你要我花3天的时间去这个地方，我不去。
But if I need to spend 3 days to get there, I will not go.
所以我在一个时间跟那个环境，我们也选择。
And so we choose based on the time and the environment.
所以我们发现我们在知识上面知道，这个工作是为神。
And so in terms of knowledge, we know this work is for
我
God.
们也知道做这个工作是为了教会，
And we know this work is for the church.
但是因为我们是带着一个选择性的态度去工作，
But if we do this work with the heart to choose,
所以就构成了我们没有办法在这个工作本身能够真的投入发热心。
then it will affect whether we can truly invest ourselves and be zealous for this work.
那这个是我们发现，这个会影响我们的那个工作的投入，还有对神那个热心的。
And so this will definitely affect how much we invest in our heart towards God.
所以为什么我们看到一些的人
And so that is why we see some people.
有时你看到工作很热情，有时看到他好像很懒散。
You see sometimes they're very zealous in work and sometimes they're a bit more
所以
casual.
当我们在真的仔细去看的原因的时候，
But if we look clearly at the reason,
都可能都跟这4个方向有关系的。
it is perhaps related to the 4 points mentioned above.
但是我们问自己，
But we can ask ourselves,
那我们可以选择吗？
can we choose?
那当然，以我们的人的权利来说，
But in terms of our rights,
我们可以说我选择，为什么不可以选择呢？
we can say I can choose. Why can I not choose?
那当然，我不是说不可以选择，
So of course I'm not saying you can't choose.
但是我们的选择是合理吗？
But is our choosing rightful, lawful?
所以主耶稣他曾经说，
And so Jesus once said,
那些服侍我的人，
those that serve me,
我在哪里，他们要在哪里，
where I am, they are to be there also.
可以选择吗？
Can we choose?
不能够选择。
We cannot choose.
主耶稣要服侍我吗？
Is Jesus to
我
serve
在哪
us?
里就在哪里哦。
Where I am, you are to be.
就说明了我们要放弃我们的选择。
But it's just to say we need to put down our choices.
那除非那个会影响我们的怎么说？真的我们没办法了，去参与的，很有原因的，我们可以。
Unless this doing of the work may really affect us and we cannot do it.
那一般的在教会的工作或者教会的安排的话，都看着我们的能够参与的程度来去安排的。
And most works in church will be based on our ability to help in the work.
所以重点是说，我们要看着自己，我们是抱着哪一个态度，是选择的态度去参与，去面对这个工作嘛。
But the main point is whether what kind of heart or attitude we have towards the work.
是吧？是因为人的原因，所以构成了我的投入不投入的原因吗？
Is it because of man that affects whether we are fully investing in this work?
所以我们看到有些人的选择就是这样了。
And so we see some people choose based on this.
我跟这个人不合，
I'm not very, I do not get on well
我
with
就
this
不
person.
参与这个工作，
And so I'll not partake in this
我就
work.
参与其他的工作，
I will help in other areas.
可以吗？
Can I do this?
当然对我来说可以啊，因为我要保护自己啊。我既然跟这个人没办法沟通，我怎么跟他同工呢？
And so to ourselves, we may say, of course I can do this because I'm protecting myself. If I'm not able to get on well with this person, how can I work with
好
them?，
然后我就问自己，
And so we may ask ourselves,
到什么时候我们可以跟他同工？
when can we co-work with them?
到我们死了，一定会同工吗？
When we die, would we have worked with them?
或者再说一下，
Or if we say further,
当我们两个都离开这个世界到天国呢，
when both of us leave this world and we enter into heaven,
你不想见他吗？
you don't want to see them, is it?
可以吧？
Can we do this?
不可能的。
It is impossible.
问题说我们能不能够见天国也是一个问题啊。
But of course, whether we can enter into heaven is a question in
为什么？
itself. Why?
是耶稣说啊，
Jesus says,
我们不饶恕人，神就不饶恕你啊。
if we do not forgive others, then God will not forgive
神
us.
就不饶恕我，怎么能够进天国呢？
If God does not forgive me, then how can I enter heaven?
可能他可以进去啊，
Perhaps that person can
但是我
enter,
不能够进去，
but I cannot enter
因为是我不愿意跟他，是我不愿意跟他，
because I'm not willing to be with that
是
person.
我的问题。
It is my problem.
我们不要说他有没有这个人有没有错了，
Let's not talk about whether that person has
问
wrong.
题说我不愿意跟他同工，
But the problem is that we are not
就
willing
说明
to
了我不
co-work with
愿
them,
意饶恕他，
which means we are not willing to forgive them.
我不尊敬他。
We do not respect
当然我们
them.
是觉得看到他我的心就痛啊，
And so we may say, oh, when we see this person, our heart is painful.
或者说他所做的伤害了我的心。
Or what that person does hurts our heart.
当然站在人的立场，我们是有很多理由的，
And so if you look from the perspective of man, we have many
但是我
reasons.
们站在神的道理的立场来看的时候，
But if we look from the perspective of God's teachings,
所以主耶稣才说了，
that is why Jesus
你要
says
饶恕人。
you are to forgive others.
那其实耶稣的要求
And this is Jesus' requirement.
不是说给我们压力啊，
It is not a pressure to us
给我们那个说不可能的事情。
or to give us something that is impossible.
其实耶稣这样做就是做提升我们的得救的机会，
And Jesus is doing this to elevate our chances to be saved,
提升我们得恩典的机会。
to elevate our chances to receive
所以主耶
grace.
稣说：“你饶恕他，我就饶恕你啊。
Jesus says, if you forgive them, I will forgive you. ”
那我饶恕人一点点哦，
If I forgive some people a little
但是主耶
bit,
稣饶恕我很多啊，
but Jesus forgives us a lot,
不值得吗？
is that not worth it?
所以当我们去想的时候，
And so when we think about this,
我饶恕他对我的一句话的得罪，
if I forgive that person for the one time that they offended us,
但是主耶稣可以饶恕我很多的问题。
but Jesus can forgive our many problems, our many areas.
那这样的话，其实这耶稣告诉我们的得救的机会就大了。
And so if we do this, then our chances of salvation is great.
所以当我们这样明白的时候，
And so when we understand this,
所以我们就不选择了，
then we will not choose.
除非真的没办法之下，没办法解决之下，我们就不能够参与。
Only if it's impossible for us to partake, then we will not
但是
help
也
in
不
this work.
是长期的、永远的医生不能够参与吧？
But surely it is not forever that you cannot help in this
所以
work.
我们有时说我们有点不对的那个态度了。
And so sometimes we have an incorrect mindset.
我不做这个工作，
If I do not do
我
this
不跟
work,
这个人同工，
if I do not co-work
我
with
跟
this
其他
person,
人同工，
I co-work with other people,
很热心在去做这个事情，
and I'm very zealous to
主
do
耶
this
稣
work,
接受我的了，
then Jesus will accept
是
me.
不是这样想呢？
Is that not
有
right?
时说我们就是这样想啊，
And perhaps this is how we
那
think.
个不行，我不就跟他，我做这个好了，
If I cannot be with this person,
都
then I'll
一
share
样
with
的。
other people. It's the same.
其实不一样。
But in fact, it is not the
我
same.
们不愿意追求这个和睦，
If we're not willing to be harmonious
就
with that
算我们
person,
去跟其他的工作去投入的话，
and even if we put our all into this other
但
work,
是我们不回头处理这个问题，
but if we do not turn back and resolve this
最后
problem,
的我们也没办法得神的喜悦，
then in the end we will not be pleasing to God.
因为神不是要我们去逃避啊，
Because God does not want us to flee.
那我们所选择是逃避而已啊，
We choose to run
是
away.
用这个来去安慰我。你看我很有热心啊，你看我很投入啊，
And we use this other option to comfort ourselves to say that we're very zealous,
但
we're
是
very
我们在
we
看这
invest a
一个
lot.
方面的时候，我们没办法处理，还没有处理好。
But when we look at the other aspect, we have not resolved this well.
所以有时候我们是用我们的观念来去看工作，
And so we use our own concept to look at the
所以
different
并且
works.
说我们是选择。
And so that is why we say we are choice-based.
所以我不是说没有热心，但是这个热心没有让我们真的全面性的直接的因为是神的原因发起热心。
But it's not to say that we don't have zeal, but it is not a complete zeal towards God.
那当然说，遇到这个问题，
And so, of course, when we
我
face
们
these
暂时没办法
difficulties,
去面对，也没办法去解决。
for the time being, we don't have the ability to resolve this.
可能我们去转移那个方向，
Perhaps we change in our
但
direction.
是这个目的是什么？
But what is the main
这个目
purpose?
的是让我们的心平安下来
But the purpose is so that our heart can be at rest.
这个目的让我们的信心继续保持。
And it's so that our faith can
但是
continue.
这个保持的当中是让我去准备要去处理这个问题，
But this is to prepare ourselves to then resolve the other problem.
而不是说用这个来去代替，或者说来去遮盖我的这个方面的问题。
It is not that we use this to then replace or hide the other problem.
所以我们要明白这个方向，
So we must understand our direction.
我们还继续参与，
We must continue
虽然说
to
参与
take
不
part,
同的工作，
take part in different works.
但是这个是让我的心平安，
But this is to allow us to have peace
让
in
我
our
们
heart,
心里面再稳定下来，
to stabilize our heart,
再能够更进一步体验神的恩典，
to once again experience the
从
grace
神
of
领
God,
受的能力，
to receive power
从
from
神
God,
领受安慰，
to receive comfort from
再
God,
立志的来去解决这个问题，
to then be determined to then resolve the other problem.
那我们的信仰就完整了。
Then our faith will be complete.
所以我们去到什么做什么，我们就没有什么的怎么说阻挡。
So then afterwards, any work that we may encounter with it, there's no obstruction.
所以我们看保罗就是这样的，
So we see Paul is like this.
所以他的心很平静啊。
His heart is at peace.
所以他说该跑的路我跑完了，
He says the race that he has finished this
所以
race.
这个包括是说这些的路我应该要跑，但是我还没有跑，现在我要跑。
The race he has not run, he is now to run.
所以我们不要给自己进到那个选择性的热心。
So we must not allow ourselves to enter this choice-based zeal.
那另外的我们的选择，
And so secondly, our
可能因为
choices,
我们的年龄跟我们的身体的状况而做出那个选择性的，
and perhaps because of our age or our health, we make a decision.
或是说我们的因为身体或者年龄的原因阻挡了我们的热心吗？
Will we allow our age or our health to obstruct our zeal?
当然我们看到真的有些的人呢，到了某个年龄放下了，
And so there, we see some people that when they've reached a certain age, they will put down some work.
但很可惜的。
But we see it's very
我们
pitiable.
看到有些人慢慢进到退休的年龄，
We see some people that as they reach retirement
但是
age,
有些人觉得我已经到了退休，那个教会的工作交给别人了，不要找我了。
they may say that, oh, I've reached the age of retirement, and so any work we will give to other people, don't look for me.
那也是我是自己问自己的。
And this is something I ask
当我
myself.
到了67岁以后
When I reach 67,
退休了，
I will
我
retire.
还会继续做工作吗？
Will I continue to
或
serve?
者说好了，收山了，
Or will I say it is now time for me to rest and
我回
retire?
家睡觉了？
I can return home to sleep.
其实
But in fact,
年龄跟那个身体的状况，虽然说会构成一些的阻挡，
so it is that yes, age and health may have some obstruction,
但是我们要超越这个阻挡。
but we must overcome and go beyond this
那
obstruction.
当然了，年龄大了，我们走不动啊。
And of course, with age, you may not be as mobile,
好像摩西一样。
just as Moses.
那摩西也是一样的，
Moses was the
虽
same.
然说他的精神很好了，
And so even though he was still sound in his mind,
精神呢，
in
Mental
his mental ability was still
但是
there,
他肉体的不行啊。
but physically he was not
所
able.
以在那个生命记，他跟那个以色列人怎么说？
And so what did he say to the people in
我
Deuteronomy?
们看那个生命记的31章，
Let's read Deuteronomy chapter
生命
31.
记的31章，
Deuteronomy
我
chapter
们看第一
31.
节跟第二节。
Let's read verse 1 and verse 2.
摩西去告诉以色列人说，众人说现在120岁了，不能照常出入。耶和华也曾对我说，你必不得过约旦河。那摩西就说，我120岁啊，
And so here Moses says, I'm
不能够照
120
常
years
出
old.
入，
I can no longer go out and
就
come
说
in.
不是好像以前也跑来跑去，出入，
Just as before when I can go out and come in.
那个脚问题了，
And so this is a problem.
体力问题了，
It is the problem of the
但是精神
strength.
很好。
But mentally he's still
但是身体就不行。
very well. But in his physical health
所以
he's
我们
not
说
able.
身体跟年龄有它的影响的一个因素，
And so of course our age and our health are factors in our serving.
但是我们不要让身体跟年数来去影响我们。
But we must not allow our age or our health to affect
所以
us.
在某些工作我们不能够参与，
So there's some works that we may not be able to take
但
part
是我
in.
们对信仰、对教会的心一样的那个爱心还有热心。
But towards our faith, towards our heart, towards church, we must have this faith and
那
love.
圣经里面我们看到一些的例子，
In the Bible, we can see some
比如说
examples.
以利沙，
For example,
他
Elisha,
病了，
he was
躺
ill
在那个床上。
and he was lying on the bed.
那个以色列王来去见他的时候，
And when the king of Israel came to look for him,
他没有说一句的痛苦的话。
he did not say one word of regarding his pain.
虽然那个王呢在哭着跟他讲话，
And so even though the king was weeping when he spoke to him,
但是以利沙没有哭啊，
Elisha did not weep.
他反而说：“你起来，
He in fact said,
你拿那
rise
个
up
弓那个箭往那个窗户射那个箭。
to pick up the bow and the arrow to shoot from the window.
然后说这个是神给你得胜的箭。
And he says that this is the bow of God,
所以
of
从他的
victory.
话语的当中，我们可以看到他没有因为自己的身体的病程而去改变了对当时的以色列国的关心。
And so we see that even though he was ill, he did not allow this to affect his care towards the Israelites.
甚至他死了以后，
And so even after he died,
他埋葬了。
when he was buried,
刚好有人抬着那个死人，
at that time there were some people carrying the dead.
那因为有个敌人来攻击他们，
When the enemy came to attack them,
他们就怕了。
and so they became
那结果
afraid.
在那个死人丢在那个以利沙的那个坟墓，碰到那个坟墓，
And they cast the dead body into the tomb of Elisha.
那结果那个死人碰到这个以利沙的坟墓就复活了。
And this person touched the tomb of Elisha and they resurrected.
那是一个神迹，
And this is a
但
miracle.
是告诉我们一个很重要的教训：
But it tells us a very important teaching.
以利沙真的死的也没有离开这个对国家的关系，
And even to the point of death, Elisha did not leave his loyalty towards the
那
country.
这很难得的。
And this is this is
今天
something
我们
that's
也
not
是一样。
easy to come by. And today
那
it
我们
is
真
the
的
same.
看到教会里面就是有这些工人啊，
In church, we can see that there are people and workers like
自己
this.
的那个命快要死了，
And their life is nearing their end.
但是他所想到是什么？
But what is it that they think about?
教会的事情。
They think about the matters concerning the
那
church.
撒母耳也是一样，
And the same for
他退
Samuel.
休了
He retired,
百姓不要他，
and the people did not want him,
百姓要那个扫罗王，
and they wanted the king Saul.
但是撒母耳怎么说？
And what did
我继续为
Samuel
你
say?
祷告的，
I will continue to
我
pray
继续
for you.
为你们祷告，
I will continue to pray for you
用祷告来支持你们，
and to support you through prayer.
用祷告来让你们去持守神的道理。
And through prayer that they can continue to uphold the word of God.
那大卫也是一样，
And so David is the same.
他希望能够投入建造神的殿，
He was very invested into building the temple
但
of
是神
God.
说不给你做。
But God said he was not taken to partake in
但
this
是
work.
大卫没有因为这个原因就罢手了，不做。
But David did not, because of this, stop or give up.
大卫说：“
David
我
said,
将我一生所存留的金银全部奉献给神。
he said that all the wealth and possessions that he gained in his life, he offered all to God.
没有一样留下给孩子，
There was not one thing that he left for his
因为
children,
他对神的爱已经超越了，已经 已经超越了，没办法去阻止他能够奉献给神。
Because his love for God was so abundant that there was nothing could stop him from offering to
所以
God.
从这3个例子来告诉我们什么？
And so from these 3 examples, what does it
今
tell
天我
us?
们会老的，
So today we will
今
age,
天我们一定会病的，
we will encounter sickness,
但是我们应该有什么的心？
but what kind of heart should we have?
那当然我们老了，
And of course we
我
will
们病
age
了，
and we will become ill,
那教会也不会勉强我们去工作的。
and the church will not force us to work.
但是
But
我们必须要坚持对神、对人、对教会的热心。
we must persist in our zeal for God, for others, and for the church.
这个不是单单是工人应该有的态度，
And this is not just the attitude workers should
应该
have,
是所有的信徒的态度，
but it should be for all believers.
因为我们每个人都是神的工人，
Because each and every one of us are workers for
因为我
God.
们每个人都是受到神的恩典的人，
Because we have all been receiving the grace of God.
所以我们就好像那个以赛亚先知的态度
We should have the attitude of the prophet Isaiah,
没有选择性。
to not have a choice.
所以当神在传说的时候，
And so when God was speaking,
有谁愿意比我们差遣，受我们差遣呢？
whom shall I send?
所以以赛亚就说：“我在这里，差我吧。
Isaiah said, Here I am, send me. ”
神都没有说去哪里啊，
God did not say where he
神
was
也
to
没说
go.
做什么工作啊，
God did not say what kind of work he
神
would
只是
do.
说我可以差遣谁呢？
God only said, Whom shall I send?
以赛亚就说：“我来。
And Isaiah just said, ”
那今
Here I
天我
am.
们有这个心呢
So today, do we have this heart?
当教会报告的时候，
When the church announces,
教会需要什么的人呢？
the church needs certain people,
教会需要什么的来帮忙？
and that the church needs help in some areas.
那我们听了，
When we hear this,
我们就摇头，不要，
would we shake our head and said, No, thank you,
因为我不想参加。
because I do not want to take part.
但是有些的人，
But some people,
他听了，
they hear,
他就立刻去参与。
they immediately go to take
所
part.
以有时候我发现感谢神呢，在英国的年轻人大部分都很积极的。
I give thanks to God that many youths in the UK are very zealous.
你跟他说我们需要这些人，
We say to them, Oh, we need these kinds
然
of
后你
people.
跟他说我们找不到人啊，
We say that we cannot find some
他说
people.
好，我去。
And so they are willing to take part.
不是说他不愿意去，所以没有人才去，而是说他看到没有人了，所以他就怎么说，很有意的来去安排的，或者说请假。虽然说没有假期了，但是还去请假来去做这个工作。
It's not to say that they are very unwilling, but they see that there's a need, and so they're willing to arrange themselves and take annual leave to take part.
所以我说，这个是真的有心啊。
And so this is having a true heart.
所以今天我们要明白，
So today we must understand
我们的热心，挑起我们的信仰的热心。如果我们没有选择性的话，
and if our zeal is not based on choices,
愿意投入，愿意奉献，
we're willing to offer, willing to sacrifice,
因为我们明白我们所得的救恩是真的，
because we reckon that the salvation we received is
我
true,
们为神工作是合理的，
and it is right for us to serve the Lord.
也应该的。
It is our duty.
那我们就不会有任何的故意性的选择。
Then we will not have any choices or decide based on certain
我
factors.
们会看，机会来了我就做，
We see there's an opportunity, and so we will take part.
甚至我们可以自愿的来去投入去做。
And if we will all the more volunteer to take part.
教会接受我就参与，教会不接受没关系，我继续。
If the church accepts, then I will take part. If not, then I will continue.
所以求主就是帮我们，
And so we ask God to help
让我
us.
们真的保持一个真实的顺服甘心的乐意的侍奉神。
And that we may keep a submissive and willing heart to serve God.
我们唱诗
We'll sing hymn,
380首。
hymn 380.